My name is Marquessa Brown. I'm going to share with you some very simple instructions for putting a zipper in a dress. I believe I'll start with the assumption that everybody listening to this or looking at this isn't going to know two things. They're not going to know how to use a sewing machine, and they're not going to know how to sew. So let me start with some very simple directions about a sewing machine and how you operate it. A sewing machine has a big wheel on the right. It has a needle and a needle foot in the center, and it has a plate on the bottom. The plate that's on the bottom is directly over the needle, which is located in the needle foot. It also has a pedal that's on the floor. Now the object is you have to mash the pedal with your right foot while holding the fabric with two hands so that the fabric can easily glide through the needle. And you've got to hold it to kind of keep it from going in all kinds of directions so that your fabric won't be crooked and lines everywhere and it's sewn incorrectly. So you don't have to worry too much about the wheel. The wheel just turns automatically. But you've got to learn how to get the right amount of pressure on the foot. On the foot as you're guiding the fabric through. Okay, so that's pretty much how the machine works. Now there are two ways that you can put a zipper in. You can put the zipper into your garment before you've sewn the entire garment together, or you can complete the entire garment and then put your zipper in. I think it's probably easier to put the zipper in before you sew the entire garment together because you just have less fabric to work with. And I think that makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to guide the fabric through the machine and over the needle. Okay, now I'm just going to talk very quickly about how you do it either way. If you want to put the zipper in before you've put your entire garment together, then you want to start with the pieces that the zipper is going to fit in. So let's assume that we're making a skirt and we're going to have the zipper in the back of the skirt. The skirt therefore is going to have an opening in the center, and the zipper is going to fit directly in this center opening. So what you're going to do, and I think for new sewers, it's probably best to do what we call a basting first. And a basting basically means that you sew your zipper in by hand. Simply using a needle and thread, you sew it up one side and you sew it up the other side. It's very important to make sure that the fabric totally covers the zipper. So often when people are learning to sew and putting in zippers for the first time, they tend to have the silver or the shiny part of the zipper showing in the middle. But the key when you're basting is to be sure that the left and the right cover the center of the zipper when you baste it in. Okay, so let's say you've sewn up the left side, you've sewn up the right side, the zipper has, the fabric is totally covering the zipper so that you cannot see your zipper. Now, after you've done that and you've got this one piece of fabric, the back part of your dress, you're going to take it and you're going to lift up the needle. There's a little flipper on the back of your sewing machine. So you flip it up, you take your fabric, you put it under there, and it's probably better to start sewing on the right side of your zipper. So you take your fabric, you put it under, you let down the lever, you put your foot on the pedal, and you start sewing, guiding your fabric all the time. And you want to And you want to sew very slowly. So you're going to start probably at the bottom, and you're going to sew up one side. Now, if you know anything about zippers, the top part of the zipper is kind of thick. So it's going to be important when you're sewing that when you get to the top part and the needle doesn't go over the thick part of the zipper, that you stop at that point. So you're going to sew straight up until you get to that thick part of the zipper and you can't sew it anymore. You stop, this is when you're going to use your wheel on the side. You take your wheel and you turn it up so that the needle comes out of your material. You take your fabric out, and then you move it over to the other side. And so you're going to sew again where you did your basting, and you're going to sew that up. When you finish with that, you take it out again, you pull your zipper down, and then you're going to sew those two places on both sides where it was too thick to sew it with the zipper up. So now that you've got the zipper pulled down, you can get your needle to go through on both sides. That's basically how you put a zipper in.